uninvited. President Trump abruptly calls off the White House Super Bowl celebration. Was he playing defense since most of the Eagles said they weren't showing up? Plus, Newt Gingrich reveals why he says the president's promise to make America great again is going even better than he expected. I'm not a superstar. And find out why SpongeBob SquarePants the Broadway musical is nominated for 12 Tony Awards when they perform on The View. Let's go! Hot topics are on the table with Whoopi, Sarah Haynes, Joy Behar, Sunny Hostin, and Meghan McCain. Now, let's get things started.
I notice that there are some nuns in the audience, and I suspect that Sister Act is happening in Westchester. Is that right? And you guys are from there? So people can go see the musical in Westchester. If you look on our site, we'll tell you where to go. Yes. Okay? Welcome to the View. The Super Bowl party is over at the White House. The current resident tweeted that since only a few Philadelphia Eagles decided to come, they canceled it. He added, staying in the locker room for the playing of our national anthem is as disrespectful to the country as kneeling. Now, ex-Eagle Torrey Smith shot back, tweeting, to make it about the anthem is foolish. It's because most of the team doesn't want to see him. So why does he, because remember, they were not a team that was kneeling.
No.
In fact, not one player, it's notable that not one player kneeled the entire season.
No. So why is he making, it's not about the anthem, dude.
You know, it's because it's a good point for him. I think he feels that his base, that this resonates with his base, so he has to make it about him. I was talking to Candace, our social media coordinator, and we were, you know, when there's a guy that's like trying to talk to you and he's like, hey, cutie, and you kind of reject him, and then he's like, you weren't that cute anyway. Yeah. I think that's what basically is happening with Trump. The rejection that he's feeling from the cool kids is really smarting. You know, it's really affecting him.
Yeah, there were a couple it must hurt him a lot because I remember at his wedding to Marla, there were lots of sports figures there. He reveres sports figures, so this really must be
not anymore. This is killing him. The Warriors didn't go either. Remember, he canceled the Warriors' visit to the White House.
Well, there were some funny tweets actually online that I had to notice because that's what I do when things get crazy. There was a tweet that said, "Our party was bigger than yours." I think we have these teed up. Oh, fly, Eagles, fly. Because we have learned in this administration that size occasionally matters, but there's also, of course, Trump doesn't want the Philadelphia Eagles to come to the White House. After all, last time Trump got close to an Eagle, this happened.
I mean, it's unfortunate, I think, that he's making it about the military. That he's trying to make it seem as if NFL players are anti-military, when in fact many NFL players, former and current, have served in the military. So it's unfortunate.
I think when you get invited to the White House, you should go. Period. I think the White House and the presidency is bigger than one man. I don't like how political sports has gotten. We've talked about that many times on the show. There are times people have asked me to do things and take phone calls. I remember being in different times with people who I politically have vastly different perspectives on the world. I know it's a different time, but I do think sports should bring us together. And I do think when you're invited to the White House, I don't care who you are, it's an incredible experience. Yeah. And I wish we could table it at the time and really just come together in one way or another. What you're talking about with the anthem, it is a total culture war, ground zero issue for him to be using right now in order to gin up his base.
Yeah. But, you know, the Eagles, Torrey Smith, sorry, darling. He said, if I was invited to a party by someone someone sexist who said offensive things towards minority groups or called my friends SOBs, you would understand why I wouldn't want to go to that party. That's their thinking. They feel like, you know, you're not hearing us, because when Tim Tebow took a knee, you know, not everybody liked it, but people understood it. They said, okay, that's his thing, that's what you're doing. And his was because of his religious beliefs. Well, this is because of how they feel about what's happening in the country. Not the service people, because as you said, you know, they've all said, you know, we got family in the military. That's not what this is. We're saying there's an issue. And the fact that you can't hear that is troubling, and I think that's why they're.
Well, you should have checked what the team did last season, because the team didn't kneel. So using it about kneeling at all kind of is a moot point on this team.
So much power, and again, I think one of the things that I have to stay true to right now is that I do believe in America and the presidency and the White House in a much greater way than I do this president. And when you give him this much power, that he is so horrible and so horrific that you stop believing in America and the White House, I think that's where my problem comes into play. I have grave issues.
But they would be hypocritical then if they went.
I think you can go like Kim Kardashian did, and I'll give her credit, and maybe use that moment to say, this is why I kneel, this is why I don't, to start and have a conversation. But I think we're just going into our different tribal directions and getting absolutely no place.
But his behavior is beneath the dignity of the office of the presidency of the United States.
They make death jokes about my father, I know. But I'm telling you that even for me, at this point in time, even for me, and I've been through a lot with this administration while my dad has cancer, even for me, he is not bigger than the presidency, he's not bigger than America, he's not bigger than the White House, and sometimes you just have to come to the table and have the conversation.
And sometimes you just have to walk away. Sometimes you just have to say no.
Who was the vocalist that was here that got invited to sing at the inauguration?
The young girl.
Yeah.
Not no.
Jackie Ivanko?
No. A black woman who came here and said she got a huge backlash.
Jennifer Holliday.
Right.
And she said what you're saying, Megan. She said there was a time when I couldn't, as a black woman, perform in this
administration.
In the time of when there was a time in the White House, in the White House, where she never would have been able to sing. So she thought it was an honor, and she said she took up the invitation and got a lot of flack because she said something similar to you, which was she saw it as the White House was bigger than a president.
I refuse to let him destroy all the things I believe in and that our founding fathers started. I refuse to let him destroy what I believe in the White House and the presidency. And I think when you are called and when you are asked, you show up, if for no other reason than to say your piece, whatever it is that you want to say.
Perhaps these players refuse to allow him, but perhaps these players are refusing to allow him to change the narrative. He is trying to change the narrative of the protest. He's trying to co-opt their narrative, and perhaps these players are saying, I'm not going to allow you to use me as a photo op. I'm not allowing you to do that to me.
This team did not kneel, as we said at the beginning of the time.
The mayor of Philadelphia said disinviting them from the White House only proves that our president is not a true patriot, but a fragile egomaniac obsessed with crowd size and afraid of the embarrassment of throwing a party to which no one wants to attend. Okay?
Listen, we're in total disagreement, but I would go to hell and meet with the devil himself if I thought it could change something.
Sometimes
for the better of America.
protest is a louder voice than showing up.
Listen, that's all we're doing though. We're in different corners and we're never going to talk to one another.
Well, no, we will, but it would be nice if this particular man did not do and say some of the things that he said. Really, when you're questioning whether these guys should be in the country at all because they disagree with you, when you talk about them like they're layabouts, sucking off the teat of America, not working for their thing. Yeah, I think they're a little pissed at him. I understand they're a little pissed at him, and sometimes you can suck it up, but sometimes you can't. I think it's just hard. And you know what's harder?
What?
Trying to go to break.
Still ahead, Clinton cracks how Bill lost his cool when he was asked about Monica Lewinsky and why he says he's a victim too. If you are in the white-hot center of the news, this is where you come to voice your view.
Character matters. Truth-telling matters.
Women are not going to be silenced. They're not going to be intimidated. They are going to speak their truth.
Because this is the only place in daytime.
This is the interview that meant the most to my wife, so thanks for...
Taking on the newsmakers.
What I do for a job doesn't impact my ability to know right from wrong or to tell the truth.
We're The View.
I take such pride in the idea that the president watches our show.
He sure watches this show.
Hello. On ABC.
Welcome back. Kim Kardashian won the first Influencer Award at the Council of Fashion Designers of America Awards last night. And she said she's surprised that she got a fashion award since she's naked most of the time. She also added that her husband, Kanye West, is her best stylist because he would say to her, you need to be wearing this. This is a designer you would love. This.
Yeah.
So the question is, do you take fashion advice from outside sources, or do you stay with what's in your head?
I would definitely take fashion advice from my husband because he's, you know, very, very honest and he's got such a great eye. But I would like to talk about what you wore, Whoopi, at the CFDA.
Yeah.
I know this segment is not about that, but check that out. I love fashion so much, but that's an iconic look.
That is a great look. That is
so
Christian
fantastic.
Siriano did that to me.
Absolutely stunning.
He asked if he said, would you wear a fuchsia suit and a hat? And I was like, sure.
Like, fuchsia was right behind.
And then he made it.
It just blew me away.
It was
Nice.
gorgeous.
And these are the shoes I had
I like that.
underneath.
I like it.
You always pull out.
It just blew me
He
away.
designed your Oscar gown, too,
Yeah, he
though.
did the Oscar gown
And he put
that
you
I
in a
wore.
combat boot.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
But anyway, getting back to Kim.
But the idea of someone outside of yourself saying, hey, let me give you, maybe you should try this. Is that welcome?
Yeah, but not my husband.
No?
When I met him, he was wearing bell bottoms. It was 1982.
When you met him, he wasn't wearing clothes.
Must you bring that up again?
Wasn't it the nudist collar?
Yes, but then
I love
after
that
he put
about
his
you, by the
clothes
way.
on, they were bell bottoms.
I would take advice from my husband because I live in
Yeah.
sweatpants. I'm like a function over fashion girl, so I am all about comfort. The problem is when I try, then he's not good with women's fashion, so he knows he doesn't want what I chose. But then when I put stuff on, he's like, I don't know, So I end up risking more when I'm not in athleisure wear.
Right.
Well,
I know how to mix and match those.
I thought it was wonderful that Kim said that about Kanye, that he really was a style influencer for her. I mean, he just had that
We
line.
have a stylist on this show, and she basically dresses all of us, and we just go along with it. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
obviously,
Absolutely.
we take advice, yeah.
Yeah.
Would you take advice from Ben?
I mean, if Ben had it his way, I would just be like having so much cleavage all day, every day. And I'm not taking advice from Ben because that's ridiculous. I don't know. I believe in letting experts be experts, and I take fashion advice from people who are fashion experts. I am far from it. So
I'm not
anyone,
fashion.
and I just leave it to the experts. That's how I feel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I wear what I want.
Yeah.
And sometimes people say, could I put you in something? And sometimes it's like,
You wore that fuchsia outfit.
I wore the outfit,
Yeah.
but sometimes, no, other people have asked to put me in things. And the best thing that happened last night was I came, because everybody and their mother was there, every fashion person. So Diana Karen turned around and said, I had to chase you around the table to try to put some color on you. My God. Yeah, because, I like black and white.
You trust Christian, too, though.
I trusted them, too, believe me. But I just wasn't ready for color.
Then
We'll be
you
right
were.
back.
The sun is still shining on summer savings. So go to viewyourdeal.com now to dive into some of this season's coolest stuff for $20 or less.
They don't want to judge basing, stuff on physical appearance, and instead they're focusing on passion and intelligence. Now, I know Joy has been bitching about this for quite a long time. So are you very happy?
Yeah, I mean, when I was a judge, a Miss America judge, I said to them, they interviewed me, and I said, why do we need this bathing suit competition? Do you sort of take women less seriously when they wear it? Can you imagine Angela Merkel talking policy in a one-piece? I mean, it sort of diminishes your the seriousness of what you're doing.
That visual is never going to leave my mind.
So I did say that in those days, and I guess that somebody's taking it seriously.
I think it's a good thing.
It'll be interesting to see what the pageant looks like, though, because you think of it in those segments, and with the evening gown, the bathing suit, you still have talent, and then the interview, the questions. But it'll be interesting to see visually what it looks like, because they've offered to let them wear anything they feel comfortable in. So there is a chance for athleisure to make a huge comeback.
I'm not sure about why they're eliminating evening wear. What is that?
Same thing,
I think
probably.
it's the same
Physical appearance.
It is a beauty contest, which is why this is interesting. And I've known many people who've competed in the Miss America pageant. My good family friend actually married a Miss South Carolina. And my problem wasn't that the bathing suit competition existed. It was the lack of body diversity. I think if you actually had, like, you know, a girl that looked like Ashley Graham, plus-size girl in a bathing suit, it's more about, like, celebrating bodies of different kind. And to me, it was all one body type.
Don't you think it's so distracting, though? And it takes away from what you're speaking, because you're looking at her, what, you know, how this is and how this is, and does she have cellulite and are her legs long?
The ratings are down, and I don't think it's not that it's not, because again, there's an argument to be made that it's outdated. But I have known so many beauty queens that are smart and interesting. Gretchen Carlson's a Rhodes Scholar, you know, and I think that it's okay. And I've seen, because in politics, Miss America or Miss South Carolina or whatever come out on the road. Little girls, there's still girls get very excited to meet them. So I mean, I guess they're just evolving with time. But
they're changing it. They're saying it's not a pageant anymore; it's a competition. I always thought that these pageants, I don't know what message it sends to young girls.
Well,
they have to be judged by their looks.
Well, it used to be anyone could be Miss America. That was the thought process. And so, you know, when you're doing... Well, I think the idea of a beauty pageant has had to evolve because we don't judge each other anymore on our beauty. So I think they had to find a different way to do it. I see what you're doing. I know what that means. You're judging me not on my beauty, but whether or not I can go to break with elegance. So, we'll be right back.
Does Newt Gingrich believe the Trump campaign was a victim of Spygate? Does he think the president has the power to pardon himself? He's live on The View next.
Newt Gingrich has shared a lot of history and a few cocktails with me and my husband, and we are sharing the Hot Topics table with him right now. Please welcome author of Trump's America, former Speaker of the House, Newt Gingrich. First of all, I'm so glad you're here, Newt. We are good friends. You go way back with my husband. I actually have a picture for everyone from 1995. See the one with the glasses? That's my husband with you after the Contract for America signing in 1995.
It's nice to know he was a geek back then.
He's a nerd for forever. You know, you were one of the people that encouraged us to get married. Had you known I would end up at this table, would you have still wanted him to marry me?
Absolutely. As good looking as you are, he's lucky you even look at him.
He's pretty cute.
He is pretty cute, actually. He is very smart.
He's very smart. He considers you a mentor. So, yes, it's very nice to have you here.
Well, we talked about the current White House resident canceling the White House celebration honoring the Philadelphia Eagles. Not one of the players took a knee during the national anthem at the Super Bowl. So what is this really about?
You know, I've been thinking about that. Lives in New York, loves the Patriots. I just wonder if he didn't want the Eagles to be with him. You know, that's one of those
You're avoiding the question, Nick.
I thought, knowing Trump, that's as good an answer as any.
In your new book, Trump's America, you write about the many positive things that President Trump has done since he's taken office. What do you think the best thing is that he's done and the worst thing?
Oh, I think the best thing is the economy. I think the fact that we have the lowest black unemployment in history.
Can he take credit for that? Isn't that Obama's doing?
Oh, no.
Okay. I mean, really?
I think I think this quarter we will have more than twice the economic growth rate of any quarter in the 8 years of Obama.
Because he's been set up. He was given a gift.
Right. Well, you know.
It's true.
So Obama gets it both ways. He got a terrible gift from George W. Bush. He gave Trump a good gift. Anything good happens under Trump is actually Obama.
It's true.
Well, that's one way to look at the world.
Obama inherited a deficit.
Right.
Trump is inheriting a surplus.
And is accelerating it.
Well, we're in a
Getting
deficit.
bigger.
We're in a major deficit now,
But,
thanks to
no,
your
he didn't
party.
inherit a financial surplus. He inherited a gradually growing economy, and he's doubled the speed of growth.
Yeah, but here's the second part to this question that I'm interested in.
Go ahead.
I think the worst thing he's done is he has joined in the general reduction of the quality of language in America. I think there are times when Trump says things and does things that, frankly, as President of the United States, he ought to set a tougher standard for himself than just being a businessman saying whatever he thinks. I think so many people watch President of the United States that there's sort of be a standard of performance so people could follow you and imitate you. And there are times, frankly, you know, I would not particularly want my grandchildren to talk like Donald Trump.
It's his disrespect for the McCain family, for the Khan family, for these guys who are trying to make a point about the black
Haiti
lives
and Africa
in this country. I mean, it's more than just the verbiage. I have many. My language is horrible, as you might have. I did something during break, and you went, whoa. So I don't care about language. It's really the sentiment behind it that's killing the country.
She was asking me my opinion, not your opinion. I'll be glad for you to substitute your opinion for mine.
Well, this is both of you, so we all give our opinions here.
Well, you were one of the first. When President Trump spoke about liking people who weren't captured in regard to Senator McCain, you were someone who came out. So you're speaking not just language, but some of the content of.
I thought it was terrible. I thought it was terrible. I still think it was terrible. I think that, and again, it's your dad, but when you look at what John McCain went through, and you look at the courage he showed, and you look at him refusing to be released before the rest of the prisoners, it's an extraordinary statement of courage. I just thought Trump, look, I like Trump, but when Trump's wrong, I just say he's wrong.
Should he apologize to John?
Sure, of course he should.
Yeah.
But he won't.
Well, I want to ask you about the Mueller investigation. It's been a year since Robert Mueller took over the Russia investigation, and at the time you said, quote, Mueller was a superb choice. You still feel that way?
No. I am so saddened by how Mueller has done this. The 17 lawyers he's hired are all liberal Democrats. One of the lawyers actually was one of Hillary's lawyers.
Mueller's a Republican.
Well, apparently he's a very vague Republican because everybody on his team is a liberal Democrat. The fact
I don't know
is,
if that's true. A lot of them are Republicans, too.
I don't think that's true.
Aren't lawyers like judges, though? You entrust a judge to be objective. Aren't lawyers supposed to approach the law in the same way?
Black in the U.S. Attorney's Office, I didn't know the politics of anybody that I tried cases with.
I can guarantee you that if you look at who they donated money to, you look at the fact that the worst lawyer in his group was at Hillary's election night event. And in fact, that lawyer was repudiated 9-0 by the Supreme Court for having hid evidence in a case he prosecuted. I really am saddened by how Mueller's handled this.
So you're saddened by the team put in place?
But look, I have a very simple Jerry Maguire comment. Remember Jerry Maguire, show me the money?
Yes.
This guy's had $17 million, a year and a half. It's supposed to be about Russia. Show me something that relates
I can show
Trump.
you the 17 indictments and the 5 guilty pleas.
But they're not about Russia. There's no evidence. There's no evidence that ties Donald J. Trump to anything involving Russia.
Not yet.
We don't know that
Not yet. We don't know.
Well, like I said, it's exactly like, show me the evidence.
Fixed that letter.
He's working on it.
He's got a year and a half and $17 million. He ought to have something by now.
Well, but he said he fixed that letter, right?
Yeah, he
first
dictated
the
the
letter
letter.
that nobody knew about it, and then maybe his son wrote it, then no, his dad wrote it. I mean, don't you think that you must go through the process to find out if there is anything? Or are you saying, you're assuming that it's already, have you taken the idea that our government is corrupt?
Yes.
Really?
Well, and how long has it been that way, Newt?
Well, I think you can go back to a number of cases. I think the special counsel in the Bush years that set up Scooter Libby was totally corrupt, totally dishonest. I think that the U.S. attorney who convicted a senator from Alaska, and then later it turned out that, in fact, he had hidden the evidence that proved the senator was innocent. You know, there's an entire book on this that walks by Sidney Powell. That walks you through case by case. Weissman, who's the lawyer I was referring to that works now for Mueller, is in her book because he destroyed Arthur Anderson with false evidence. He was repudiated 9-0 by the Supreme Court, and this guy is still there as though he was an honest man.
Let me ask you something about the length of time. How long did Watergate take? I believe it was 3 years, and we didn't know anything about it. Until all the evidence came out.
Well, first of all, you knew the first night because the police picked up the guys who
Well, yeah, there was a break-in, but we didn't know that Nixon was involved. It took a long time and a lot of investigation for that to come out. But this is the same situation. We don't know what Mueller has. He's tight as a drum, this guy. Nothing has leaked.
They leak to the New York Times anytime they want to leak. Look at the number of leaks in the New York Times.
Like what? What has leaked from Mueller's office?
A number of things have leaked.
Like what? Like what?
Well, I don't have it on my note card right now, but a ton. And he's through his professor friend.
What is leaked?
Oh, you mean the Comey?
Well,
that was
Comey. I'm sorry. We have to take a
Mueller.
But my only question is, again, I know it's simple-minded. He said $17 million. He said a year and a half.
Yeah.
he has a whole bunch of professional.
Maybe it's $1 million per indictment.
But if you look at what they're doing, look. Let me give you an example. They indicted a Russian firm which came into court recently and said, try us, because we did not exist on the date you indicted us for.
How about the guilty plea?
Can we go to a commercial break, please? Thank you. Newt Gingrich is sticking around, and we'll thank God, and we'll be right back. Thank you.
This week on The View, the hot topics are out of control.
Oh, yeah.
And just look who's hitting the table with their views. Mira Sorvino, Nancy Grace, Niecy Nash, and Rob Reiner.
So watch it.
This week on The View. Tomorrow, Oscar winner Mira Sorvino in her own words. How she says she survived a sexual harassment nightmare from Harvey Weinstein and how he tried to destroy her career.
We are back with Newt Gingrich. So you were one of the first people that really understood Trump in a way that you expressed it to me in a way that I really understood. I want to know, what do you think is the most misunderstood thing about the president and why his base of support is at an all-time high?
I think the most misunderstood thing is he's extraordinarily smart. I mean, this is a guy who made billions of dollars, beat 16 people for the nomination, beat Hillary Clinton in a $1 billion campaign. You know, this is a guy who's has enormous intelligence. And the biggest part of that is, on little things, he's totally unpredictable and sometimes self-destructive. On big things, he's very consistent. He does what he says. He sticks at it month after month. And I think we get confused in part because the news media picks up all the small things and gets anxiety-ridden. And frankly, part of the purpose, I think, every morning of his tweets is to remind liberals he's still here. He knows it drives them crazy. They wake up in the morning, the first thing they see is a tweet by Trump. They go, oh, my God, he's still president.
Yeah.
And that just means all the reporters...
to Americans who are not, you know, who say I'm really for the country. How does that make them feel?
Well, I hope that most Americans who are for the country would like the President of the United States to succeed.
Well, one of the things he's doing.
So I know this is...
Could I ever stop you? I can't imagine.
Well, yeah, you could. You know, I'm never rude. But if you think most people would like the American president to succeed, do you think that the Speaker of the House, the President Speaker of the House's attitude towards Obama when he said, I'm going to do nothing to help you think that was helpful?
Mitch McConnell.
No, actually, it was McConnell. That was,
sorry, Mitch McConnell.
No, and I think he probably shouldn't have said it.
Okay.
By the way, I also think it doesn't help our side. It never helps either side, Democrat or Republican, to jump up and say, I'm so partisan, I'm not going to help. As you know, Clinton and I got lots of stuff done together, even though on occasion we fought, like every day. But I think the country doesn't mind you fighting if you're also producing.
Well, the problem is, Newt, that he lies so much. 9 lies a day. He can't seem to tell the truth, and then he attacks the press.
Well, as a supporter, I'd rather think he has alternative facts.
And as a patriot, patriotic American, don't you hate the idea that he puts the press down? That's the First Amendment of this country. We don't have that. We have nothing.
No, the First Amendment is the right to have a free press. That doesn't mean you have to be obedient to it.
Well, Fox is obedient to him, though. Fox is obedient.
Fox is relatively obedient.
Yeah, very. That's like state run.
Well, I could watch this all day long. Thank you so much, Newt Gingrich. Members of our audience are getting a copy of his new book, Trump's America. We'll be right back.
The 12-time Tony-nominated SpongeBob SquarePants The Broadway Musical is showing you why it's Broadway's most buzzed about smash next.
We are back with Newt Gingrich. So, you were one of the first people that really understood Trump in a way that you expressed it to me in a way that I really understood. I want to know, what do you think is the most misunderstood thing about the president, and why his base of support is at an all-time high?
I think the most misunderstood thing is he's extraordinarily smart. I mean, this is a guy who made billions of dollars, beat 16 people for the nomination, beat Hillary Clinton in a $1 billion campaign. This is a guy who's has enormous intelligence. And the biggest part of that is, on little things, he's totally unpredictable and sometimes self-destructive. On big things, he's very consistent. He does what he says. He sticks at it month after month. And I think we get confused in part because the news media picks up all the small things and gets anxiety-ridden. And frankly, part of the purpose, I think, every morning of his tweets is to remind liberals he's still here. He knows it drives them crazy. They wake up in the morning, the first thing they see is a tweet by Trump. They go, oh, my God, he's still president.
Yeah.
And that just means all the reporters...
to Americans who are not, who don't say who say I'm really for the country. How does that make them feel?
Well, I hope that most Americans who are for the country would like the President of the United States to succeed.
Well, one of the things he's doing.
So I know this is...
Could I ever stop you? I can't imagine.
Well, yeah, you could. I'm never rude. But if you think most people would like the American president to succeed, do you think that the Speaker of the House, the President Speaker of the House's attitude towards Obama when he said, I'm going to do nothing to help you think that was helpful?
Mitch McConnell.
No, actually, it was McConnell. That was,
Mitch McConnell.
No, and I think he probably shouldn't have said it.
Okay.
By the way, I also think it doesn't help our side. It never helps either side, Democrat or Republican, to jump up and say, I'm so partisan, I'm not going to help this. You know, Clinton and I got lots of stuff done together, even though on occasion we fought, like every day.
Yeah.
But I think the country doesn't mind you fighting if you're also producing.
Well, the problem is, Newt, that he lies so much. 9 lies a day. He can't seem to tell the truth, and then he attacks the press.
Well, as a supporter, I'd rather think he has alternative facts.
And as a patriotic American, don't you hate the idea that he puts the press down? That's the First Amendment of this country. We don't have that. We have nothing.
No, the First Amendment is the right to have a free press. That doesn't mean you have to be obedient to it.
Well, Fox is obedient to him, though. Fox is obedient.
Fox is relatively obedient.
Yeah, very. That's like state run.
Well, I could watch this all day long. Thank you so much, Newt Gingrich. Members of our audience are getting a copy of his new book, Trump's America. We'll be right back.
The 12-time Tony-nominated SpongeBob SquarePants The Broadway Musical is showing you why it's Broadway's most buzzed about smash next.
In terms of treating sensitivity, 3 days is really fast. Now the dentist is going to be able to provide that to their patients. Sensodyne Rapid Relief, in my opinion, is a game changer. It's going to let the dentist offer their patient sensitivity relief in 3 days. It has a formulation that lays down a barrier of protection against sensitivity. Within 3 days, say over the course of a weekend, you're going to start feeling significant results. To say that it works in 3 days really is a big deal.
Liberty Mutual stood with me when this guy got a flat tire in the middle of the night, so he got home safe.
Yeah, my dad says their insurance doesn't have that. What?
You can leave worry behind when Liberty stands with you. Liberty Mutual Insurance.
I bet some people watch these ads and say, that could never happen to me. I don't smoke that much. so I'm not really a smoker. Well, I didn't think I smoked that much either, but I still got oral cancer, and it came back twice. Now I have no jaw and no teeth. My tip is, if you smoke, you're a smoker, just like I was.
You can quit. Call 1-800-QUIT now for help getting free medication.
Mom, dinosaurs only eat meat. Actually, the biggest dinos only ate plants, and Country Crock is made with plants. Country Crock has always been made with the goodness of plants. It has real, simple ingredients and that same country fresh taste you love. Well.